Right, so this is going to be a relatively short video, okay? So we're looking at the imperfect tense. I've used a picture of the display board from the classroom so that hopefully it means then that next time you're in the classroom, then this board will make a lot more sense to you and you can use it to make sure that what you're writing is correct. So, first of all, imperfect. Right, all you need to think about is the fact that the imperfect is a past tense, all right? It's the easiest one for us because it only uses one word, okay? So, for example, ich war, if you look here, is how you say I was. And you can do this with all of the verbs in German. All right. Now we're going to look at how to do it with regular verbs and we're going to look at how to do it with irregular verbs. And we're going to really focus on these forms. We're going to focus on the ich and the Asian S. And then we're going to focus on the wir and the Z and that little Z there, okay? Because I think those are going to be the most use to you when you come to do your own speaking and writing. Now, they'll allow you to speak about a different person when you do your own speaking and writing. And importantly, if you look, the ich and the es have the same ending. They've got that te. And the wir and the z for they also have the same endings because they've got the ten. Now, any ideas why or what else is really helpful for us to remember the difference between those that are taking te and those that are taking ten? Okay, you might have spotted that it's that difference there, isn't it? So that everything above the line is singular and everything below the line is plural. Okay, so that's what you're looking at there. Now it's the same over here. These are regular verbs, right? This is for the regular verbs, and then this is for the irregular verbs. And again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at the ich and the es, okay? Because once again, look, their endings are the same. And what we can see there is that the ich and the es don't have an ending at all when they're imperfect, all right? When they're irregular. And then again, we've got the wir and the Z for they, which again, I think are the two most important ones for you. And your endings there are both EN. Okay, so we're going to have a look at how this works in practice. We're going to look at some verbs, do a little bit of practice and remember what it means so that we can then start to use it when we're doing our essay writing. So let's have a look first of all at some regulars. So if I'm talking about regular verbs, then I'm looking at this side, okay? I'm looking at this set of endings, right? Remember that this on the left-hand side over here, everything is regular. Okay, so we're going to look at some regular verbs. So let's have a look at machen. So machen is to make or to do. We're going to look at fragen, which is to ask. We're going to look at tanzen, which is to dance, and hören, which is to listen or to hear. Okay. We'll have a look at spielen, and that should be a dead giveaway because it's the one off the board. So that's to play. Kaufen, to buy. And verkaufen, to sell. Okay, what I'd like you to do, I want all of these in the past tense, so we're using these endings. I'm going to write down the person that I want you to be talking about, and then what I want you to do is to work out which form you think that should be, write them down, and then press play again on the video for me to go through the answers. Okay, so for this one, we'll have ich, and I would like I did, I made. We'll have wir, for we asked. We'll have sie, meaning they please, for they danced. We'll have ich for I listened or I heard. We'll have wir for we played. We'll have ich for I bought. And we'll have for he sold. Okay, so all of these are past tense. Off you go. Pause the video, write down your forms, and then press play to check. So we got machen and I want I did or I made. So we take that en off and we need the te. So ich machte. Fragen then, ten will become wir fragten. Tanzen, sie meaning they, will become sie tanzten. Okay, listen, ich will become te, ich hörte. Okay, then spielen, wir, easy peasy, actually on the board. Wir spielten. And then we've got kaufen, ich, so ich kaufte. And so he sold, would be verkaufte. Okay, right. If you really want to get your head around this, what I would suggest that you do for each of the verbs above, I would write out how they will work. So I would say practice the ich, sie, and draw a line there between our singular and our plural, and then wir and sie, okay? Because those are going to be the most useful ones for you. The I, he, she, we, and they. And I would take every single one of those and I would write them out. Okay, so I would say machen and I would write out. Ich machte. Machte. Sie machte. Wir machten. And sie machten. Okay, and I would bother to do every single one. At the end of the day, lads, what you're after is a form of automaticity. So what it means is that you would know these endings, you automatically do these endings without having to stop and think and work it out. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 verbs there. I would write them out and I would do it and I would test myself, and then I would be covering that up and doing it again so that I can remember those endings. All right, and it's going to make a big difference to the accuracy of your work there. Okay, so next thing we need to do is we need to have practiced this, obviously, got our head around these endings, but remember that these are only for regular verbs. So we've also got these irregular ones on the right-hand side. These are quite nice, actually. If you learn a few irregular verbs, they look very nice. They really do raise the standard of your work. And also, if you look at the endings, there's nothing on ich or es. So by the time you've learned a few irregular stems, then you can use them for ich and es without changing them at all. And even the wir, if you remember that the plural ending for these is en, always en, whether it's wir or sie, then you're going to be able to do any of these verbs using wir as well. So the point is that these basically change and have irregular stems. Okay, so let's look at this one for a start. Helfen. Okay, help. So helfen is to help, but it goes to the irregular of half. Okay, so ich half or wir halfen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a list of really useful irregular stems here, and then we'll do some practice with them. So we'll have helfen, fahren becomes für. Gehen, I think you'll know, will become ging. Okay, these are on here on the board. Look, ging, für. We had lesen, which is to read, which becomes las. There it is. We had essen, which becomes as. We've got trinken, which becomes trank. We've got sehen, which becomes sah. Okay, so to practice these, all you need to do, again, think about what we did up here, practice them with the ich and the es and the wir and the sie. So here we go. Let's have, we have I helped, ich. We'll have we went, so wir. Remember that für is using some form of transport, whereas ging is a general one and also on foot. So let's imagine that he went, so then they read, okay, so sie, but the one meaning they. Then I would like we ate, please, and I would like we drank, but I will have I watched. Okay, pause the video, make sure that you know how that works, and then press play when you are ready to go. Okay, so let's imagine that you've got your answers ready to go. Make sure that you get these corrected. You should have ich half, no ending. Okay, look, ich, nothing. So it's exactly what I told you. So look at this. You could come down all the way and go, oh, there's another one. Ich, za. Does that happen with any others? Yes, is yes, no ending. So ging. Okay, right, wir, what are our endings? En. So für becomes wir führen. Okay, sie becomes sie lasen, they read, and wir aßen, we ate, und wir tranken. Okay, so that we drank. So again, what I would suggest that you do is that you actually write all of these out in the same way. So let's imagine we're starting with helfen. And we're using ich, sie, wir, and the sie for they. Okay, so ich half, half, sie half, wir halfen, sie halfen. Okay, and again, I would write all of these on my paper and I would basically practice those to get those endings in your head. Okay, so you basically want this to be happening automatically in your head rather than having to think about them. Ooh, sorry, I didn't realize I popped off the bottom of the page there. Right, the other thing I just wanted to go over very, very quickly is that there are two very irregular verbs that are also very important. Okay, so two irregular ones that are very important. One is on the board here. Okay, so one is sein. Okay, sein is to be, and this is it, ich war. The other one that you need to remember that is irregular is haben. So haben means to have, and this one goes ich hatte, du hattest, sie, es hatte. So again, you can see that that is the same as that. And then the wirs do what you would expect them to do. So wir hatten, ihr, which is our yous. Okay, so our plural you, ihr hattet, and sie hatten. So again, that's working like a standard regular one. Right, so I would suggest that you practice that because obviously this will now be coming up as part of the writing essay questions that we do.